in Australia and some other countries, there's mandatory voting. It would be transformative if everybody voted. That would counteract money more than anything. If everybody voted, then it would completely change the political map in this country.
You mean fundamentally change the political map? Welcome back, folks. Kendall Coffey, partner Coffey Burlington, LLC, former U.S. attorney, author of Spinning the Law, is going to spin the law with us a little bit. Kendall, the president, a lot of talk about the fact that the president, has suggested mandatory voting. What would have to happen for that to happen?
Well, I think, Steve, you probably have to amend the United States Constitution. I mean, voting is a fundamental right, just like, the right of religion is a fundamental right. But it also, I think, having a fundamental right means you have a fundamental right to choose not to participate. One of the reasons people don't vote, and there are a number of reasons, and we'd all prefer a much higher level of voting, is they're alienated from the system. And they're, in a way, expressing their disenchantment with what's going on in government by not registering and not voting. So to sort of, in effect, put some kind of legal gun to their head and say, you got to vote anyway, I think would be a violation of the Constitution as it currently exists. Could you change the Constitution? Yeah. And then we could have a long conversation on whether that's a good idea to sort of force somebody to do what they don't want to do, which really is a spectacular privilege in a democracy. If somebody doesn't want to avail themselves of this great privilege in this great society, then that's their prerogative.
Right. Do you agree with Judge Andrew Napolitano, who said it's kind of a totalitarian idea?
Well, it's certainly not consistent with the liberty and freedom we have. Again, we've had a number of court decisions that say, yeah, you have a right to practice your religion, but you also have a right not to practice your religion. Whether we agree with that or not, that's in our constitutional fabric. So to move closer in a direction that adds more things that you have to do, especially something like have to vote.
Yeah.
I think it's not only unconstitutional, but I think it would be a mistake.
Okay, let's move on to the Eric Garner case. A judge yesterday denied the request to release the grand jury testimony, all the details from the grand jury. And when I hear this reported, it's almost as if it's a shock. It's almost as if it's whoa, boy, they really do want to cover this thing up. When the fact of the matter is, as the judge stated somewhere in his decision, first of all, no good reason was shown to break with precedent. It's never, at least in New York, and you could tell me about the rest of the country, but grand jury testimony in New York is secret. And that's the process. So it would have been a landmark, boom decision if this judge decided any other way, right?
Yeah, and there are actually good reasons for grand jury secrecy. It can protect witnesses, people who participate. It frankly can protect people who are innocent of a crime from having their reputations unnecessarily tarnished. I mean, if somebody's talking about you in a grand jury, but you're never going to be charged with anything because no one really believes you committed a crime, do you really want that getting out in the press? So I could give you a lot of examples for why there's and it protects the investigative and the prosecution process. So we've got a lot of very compelling reasons. It's a very deep tradition. And if someone were making a request for grand jury notes and proceedings in a case that was never indicted in the federal system, I mean, it would just be seen as preposterous.
Right.
In this case, what the judge did is he looked for any example of a case where simply because something was of public interest and a newspaper or other media wanted it or people were curious about it, was that in the history of New York's legal judicial precedents enough to violate grand jury secrecy?
Nope.
And he found that it wasn't.
No, and you got to protect the witnesses too, because you
protect witnesses,
yeah.
Prosecution strategies, but you also, and I want to emphasize this, you protect a lot of innocent reputations from people whose names just sort of get tossed in to the Cuisinart, and their names shouldn't be out there and implicated when they really didn't do anything wrong. So really the secrecy is much, much more protective of all of us than anything else.
Hey,
And
Kendall, I know you have a big weekend planned.
I got a big weekend.
Yes, your daughter's getting married. Congratulations, and thanks for doing
Thank you,
this. And we'll
Steve.
speak to you soon, my friend.
Okay, all the best.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Rob Williams is next with the closing bell, folks.